So yes, welcome to the stream. We got to start the stream here. Before recap, before we load up the game, really quick, we're going to start the stream with a programming note and a clap. Higurashi Saturday is happening still this weekend on Saturday, but not at night. It is going to be the rare Higurashi Saturday afternoon. Oh boy, different energy for sure. Maybe, possibly, to go into that. But yeah, that's just what we gotta do. I will be busy Saturday night, so Saturday afternoon, Higurashi Saturday is Saturday Higurashi is happening, but it'll be at night. So keep that on track if you want, especially if you want to watch live. It'll be during the afternoon. In theory, the Saturday afternoon possibly helps the out of time zoners. Just putting it out there. In theory, right? I don't know. I don't actually know what the conversion is, and I'm too lazy to check. But check your local listings. Check your TV guide. And then do some math, and then you might make it. It might be easier on you to see. Sorry, I just noticed my mic arm is like dusty as shit. I need dust. The one slightly older person activity. I hate to say adulting activity because that's so whatever, but like the one activity once you like have an apartment to yourself or a house to yourself, they don't tell you you're gonna have to do a lot. It's like dust. You gotta dust a lot more than I as a kid. I was prepared for paying taxes and everything. I was not prepared for just how much dust accumulates. You know, everything is dusty. And then I wonder like why I like hack up a lung like every couple of months. I'll just like not be able to breathe for like a week, and I'm like, I don't understand why. And meanwhile, I'm like chilling with some dust bunnies constantly everywhere or something, you know? Actually, it's not that bad. I'm just being dramatic. What was I talking about? Dust. I think I was talking about dust. I got on a tangent there. Before that, what was I talking about? Oh, Higurashi Saturday is happening, but not at night. It is a Saturday Higurashi afternoon. This coming up Saturday. I will be busy during Saturday night, which I could have probably said earlier. Or assumed was going to happen earlier, but I wanted to confirm, and then I was able to confirm, like, today. So, yeah. Higurashi Saturday afternoon, a special afternoon. That's rare. I mean, that's, you know, a once-in-a-lifetime event, maybe, you could say. Maybe. So let's do a quick little recap here. Last stream, last Saturday, we talked about, we opened the stream with cicada facts. That was the most important thing that happened. And then I think a couple important things happened. We had Ketchy, our main character, become so mad about the situation that Satoko is in that he wanted to physically confront the uncle, the unk that appeared, has come back into Satoko's life, treats her like shit, apparently. Bordering on abuse, could be even worse than what we're not able to see. That's always a fear. We're told pretty bad things. We've heard pretty bad things. It could be worse. There could be... I always am like, especially in story portrayals of stuff like this, there's always like the damn. I'm just waiting for it to take the next step and be another step worse. And that was probably with my my opinion on like Irie, you know. Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls. What about it, Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls? It's been a while since I played Ultra Despair Girls, though. So if you're making a reference to that, it's... I don't think Ultra... Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Don't get me on a tangent about Ultra Despair Girls. I don't think Ultra Despair Girls is that good of a game, and it has a lot of problems. I think I've talked about this on stream before. But I will defend it a little bit. I will defend Ultra Despair Girls with a little bit of effort. For a couple of reasons, but... I mean, I just don't think it's... It's obviously different. And it's obviously, like I said, has problems. And definitely sucks and fails at certain points. But I mean, let's just say once I finished it, I wasn't upset that I played it. But I know the common sentiment is people are upset that they played it. So maybe it's just me trying to like outbalance everyone. Maybe, you know, very much in life I try to be, you know, I try to add balance to the world, you know? That's what my streams are. Honestly, I'm pretty convinced you come to the streams, it's because you in life are seeking balance, and I'm just here behind the mic to just provide that balance. I'm nothing but balance, all right? Come on now. I'm being truthful when I say that. But I digress. We're getting on multiple tangents here. So like I said, we saw and we heard, we saw potentially bad things. Again, as I'm saying, I always fear there's going to be worse. I brought that in with Irie. As my stream title today suggests, I still don't know. I'm still not 100% convinced to give him the full clear on my end. There's just that lingering weirdness about... Excuse me, I'm choked up. Talking about Irie. I'm still not 100... Like, the last thing I want to do is give him full pass, and then he reveals to be a shitty person. That's just me. So I'm going to remain guarded when it comes to Irie. But anyway, we see, as I was saying, Kechi wants to confront the uncle. Gets really pissed. Irie basically, you know, prevents Kechi from going too far, however you want to say that. Kind of wrangles in those emotions just barely, but not even really in the greatest of ways. If anything, there was a moment where Kechi goes, well, the way Irie just displayed, like, the reservedness and holding me back from expressing my anger makes me think that Irie is not on my side, which I think is... the way that was presented seemed like such a small thing, but such an important thing that I feel like that's going to come back one way or the other as far as narrative building. I don't know if that's going to reflect in Kechi lashing out at Irie, or Irie finally bucking that idea in Kechi's mind and actually Irie lashing out in some way, shape, or form. If that makes sense. Again, I'm just theorying here from the last couple of days. I was thinking about this. So then they reconvene. The class meets up. I think Satoko showed back up to school, but then she said, I might be busy again. I might not show up again. She couldn't stay for another club session. So that was making people upset and Kechi mad. More mad. Then we got the more info, basically informed that in the past, if I'm understanding and remembering the situation correctly, in the past it was brought up to authorities that, hey, this uncle treats Satoko bad things when he's around, back before he ran away from the town. And basically, because bureaucratic agencies can let down victims many times over, they kind of did their thing, and by that I mean they did nothing. I think the phrase that was thrown around a lot was wait and see approach, which is not proactive enough both in practice and in Ketchy's mind. It was not enough to stop and prevent these kind of things from happening. Case in point, here comes the uncle back now in the current time. And, in fact, not only did it not prevent and fix the problem, but in theory made the problem worse. Because then the uncle, and at the time, I guess, the aunt, the person the uncle was married to, who's no longer in the picture here, I guess, lashed out at Satoko because they tried to get authorities involved kind of thing. So basically, that was all told to Ketchy in response, because Ketchy's like, we're not doing anything. Like, you guys are, he's like pointing to gesturing to like, there was a big powerful moment between seemingly Rina, him, and Mion, where he's like basically telling them, you guys aren't, it seems like she's our friend. You guys aren't doing enough to support her, to help her. And they're like, Mion didn't come out and say it. I kind of think she made it, but Rina really hammered it home at that point and said, like, laid it on thick. But basically it was told to him that they tried in the past, this situation happened, it made the situation possibly worse. So if they were to try it again, we got to make sure we have evidence and we don't miss this time. Yada, yada, yada. Basically, I forget who it was. It was Ketchy and someone else. I guess the Mion, because she was president, went and spoke to the teacher. She called up the authorities, and we basically, from what I remember, end up with her reporting it. In this sense of like, we better hope we got this right. We better if we fuck up again, what's gonna happen? So it's kind of like the necessary things happened, but also like it's like we got to do it, but also like we hope we don't repeat the same mistakes again. Oh yeah, Ketchy also met Takano and Toмотake. They showed back up. I mean, for fuck's sake, it seems like they're just back because they gotta be back. I mean, I know that's gonna sound, especially like, that's gonna make me sound like a hater, because honestly, I am. They just showed back up. Takano was being weird. Tomotake's like, I don't know why I'm involved. And then, well, the thing is, I dislike Takano, or I think she's just weird, but intentionally she's weird, right? She's written as a bizarre figure. And then basically Toмотake gets grouped up with her constantly for many reasons, obvious, and also he's complicit, right? He doesn't offer up enough resistance. He's a known associate. And I might have even said this last stream, but I don't know if I did. But basically, guilty by association in my head. At some point, you are judged by the company you keep. And for one reason or another, Tomotake's company is Takano. So, unfortunately, he gets judged along with her in my head. And I'm allowed to do that because, again, I'm that hater. I'm allowed to, I guess. But yeah, they showed up. I forgot about that. And I think that's it. I mean, like I said, I talked about the more important things. I felt very passionate. I thought like that was a good recap. And that's, I'm not even saying that as a joke. I thought I was like, damn. Because like I said, I've been thinking about it the last couple of days. Which, again, some people will lead you to believe that I don't think at all. but in general, after a session ends, the next couple of days, I usually ruminate on the happenings of Last year Umineko, this year Higurashi. A lot of examples of me not thinking, or a lot of examples of me thinking? I'm gonna think the latter. I think that was a compliment you were saying to me. I'm just gonna choose, and then I won't look at chat for like 5 minutes, and I won't know what rebuttal you're gonna say. It's gonna be great. Do I think we'll see Satoko today? I'm going to say, I mean, this might be a tainted answer, not the kind of answer you want, but I'm going to say yes, because it, to me, makes sense narratively that we would see her at some point in some capacity after we've had this climactic moment where we reported the uncle, like at some point. I don't know in what fashion, but I don't know if she's going to come back to school. I don't know if Ketchi's going to attempt like a search and rescue, pull her out of the situation somehow. But narratively, to me, it just makes sense to me if she shows up in some fashion. So again, I don't know if that's the type of answer you want, but that's the type of answer I'm going to give. I'll say this. To me, narratively again, I'm not some narrative expert. I'm definitely not a writing expert. I'm barely even a reading expert here. But, like, to me, it would seem weird for us to have, like, this, like I keep referring to it as a climactic moment, report the uncle, and then we just sit on our hands for a while. Like, I guess I'm thinking and also hoping that, like, we start, like, especially now that we're in the second half, seemingly, of Chapter 3 here, that we're ramped up. We're ramping up, and we're not just gonna coast for a bit, you know? That's my thinking. Anything else? Say your piece before we load in. It's already loaded in. Say your piece before I start reading. I guess I should say. Okay. The Die of Fate. Oh, we got this nice little piano thing. The Die of Fate had been cast. Oh. Reporting to a public agency, which you'd kept being warned could instead result in something far worse for Satoko if we didn't have the evidence first. And just like that, had I failed, had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment, maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion, since she had been relatively calm. I remembered the punishment game where we had to badmouth Curry, and how me saying anything would have made it worse, and Satoko told us to leave the talking to her. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to lament it. The die I'd thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen.
Keiichi-kun
Keiichi-kun, you did everything you could. So, leave it to the teachers now. Okay? Everything I could.
本当に俺が死に物狂いに精一杯だったら、里子を夕べのうちに連れ出して、どこかの廃屋にでも隠れてる。
If I really gave it everything I had, if I had really struggled, would have dragged Satoko out of her home last night and hidden her in some abandoned house.
そうならなかったってことは、俺は精一杯じゃなかったってことだろ。
See, that's what I'm talking about. He's gonna do like a search and rescue. He's gonna just like, oh yeah, there was a whole bit. I almost forgot about this now that I'm talking about searching and rescue or whatever. Like, the whole bit about him, like, overthinking as a kid does to, like, hey, I could keep her in my spare room and feed her without my parents knowing, and she could shower and take a shit, like, on the floor or something. There was something weird. Or maybe that was me making jokes. I honestly forget. Blurred the lines between what was actually said by Ketchi and then what was joked about by me. But there was that whole thing, which was a little silly, but also, like, I think I mentioned at the time, very, very representative of, like, kid, clouded by emotions, just thinking, oh, this totally irrational thing is definitely a possibility of us solving the problem, when not in theory, in actuality, it would not work or solve anything. So, I thought that was interesting. I thought the moment was fine, or good. I don't find a slight negative connotation. Good. It was a thing that happened. Anyway, I didn't. So that means I didn't do everything I could.
もう考えるのはよそ。
Stop thinking about it, alright?
ケイチ君、少し根を詰めすぎだよ。
You're being a little too persistent, Kechi-kun.
そんな調子じゃ、ケイチ君まで倒れちゃう。
At this rate, you'll collapse. Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. So we're seeing, even though he's done what seemingly was the most a kid could do in this situation, it's just not good enough for him because he doesn't feel proactive enough. It's not him physically ripping Satoko out of the problem she's in right now, which is clearly what he feels like he has to do. Again, negative. We said it from the very beginning. We said that the seeds were being planted of this I keep saying seemingly. I need to stop. This friendship becoming almost like an older brother to Satoko kind of thing seemed like it was going to, the way it was being written was going to rear like an ugly turn, right? And we're kind of seeing it, but in like a, not like the most terrible way, but in like a, I feel so responsible for her and her situation, and it's like eating me up inside. Manifesting bad. Bad inside him. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene, solve everything within the day? Would they acknowledge the abuse and guarantee your safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study. The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Sensei came trotting back from the classroom.
今日は何度も電話で本当にすみませんでしたね。
I'm really sorry for all the phone calls recently.
では今日はこれでおしまいにします。
Let's call it a day.
委員長、号令。
President, please leave the class. I like how she can just like end the class is over, go home for the day. It always remind me and my best friend in college, we were taking a political science class, and we had a teacher that would constantly cancel class, and he would constantly feel the need to like give us like reasons as to why, probably because he felt guilty, or you know, it's just whatever. But me and my friend's favorite excuse is it must have been the year 2020, because it was leading up, not 2020, 2020, no, 20, it would have been 2016, I'm trying to, God, I don't even remember years. No, not 2015, not 2016, 2012. I'm just saying years. It was some year with an election here, an important election. And one time he said, I'm going to have to cancel classes because I have a lot of students emailing me a lot of questions about the upcoming election. And so I just feel like I need to, cancel class so I can answer all these emails. And you're just like, great. This is what I'm paying for. Perfect. Anyway, I messed up the story because I couldn't remember the year. It says, he only has good intentions in mind, but it's manifesting as his worst emotions. Exactly. Alright, Chie says, I'm really sorry for all the phone calls. Oh, I already read that. That's what got me started talking about the story. Everybody stand up. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since after lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation, passionately explained it to the other people. Other person? Other person. At the end, the Child Consultation Center, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her safety. Sensei understood that as well as us. And that's why she looked so unreliable right now.
Kei-chan, 帰ろうよ。
Kei-chan, let's go home.
部活する気も起きないでしょ。
I don't think anyone feels like having a club today.
みーちゃん、部活は誰が欠けても面白くないよ。
Mi-chan, it's no fun if someone's not here. Rina was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we could have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself all I can do is pray now that the dice have been cast. Just in case they didn't get her to safety and decide to wait and see again. I need to take further measures. We've asked the people who could do something official already. Then there's one more place that was worth asking for help. She might laugh it off, or I might be right, and I could be endangering my own life. But I'll try.
ミオ、
Oh, Mion,
今日さ、お前の家に寄ってもいいか？
is it okay if I stop by your place today? Oh shit.
お前、漫画かなり持ってるんだろ？
You've got a lot of manga, right?
少しまとめ狩りしたいんだけどな。
I want to borrow a bunch of them.
え？
Huh?
いいけど。
Sure, I guess. There was an ominous meaning behind my words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something alone. That's what I meant.
みーちゃん、ケイチくん、
Mi-chan, Keiji-kun,
早く帰ろう。
let's go home. Rina already had her shoes on and was waving to us from the schoolyard. Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was a vaguely old-fashioned, traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or their plot of land, was enormous. It easily convinced me that they really were major landowners, with Hinamizawa under their thumb. Mion brought me through the guest room and a servant brought us some tea.
へえ、
Wow,
さすが金持ちだな。
you really are rich, huh?
お手伝いさんなんか雇ってるのかよ。
You've even got housekeepers.
私とバッチャしか住んでないもの。
Grandma and I are the only ones who live here.
私だけじゃやってけないよ。
I wouldn't be able to do everything myself. The servant left, telling us it was 5 o'clock, then withdrew from soft footsteps.
週に2、3回ね。バッチャの世話とか掃除の手伝いで来てくれてる。
We have people come in to take care of Grandma and clean 2 or 3 times a week.
3、4人がローテーションで入ってくれてるんで、大抵毎日誰かがいてくれるよ。
They come in rotations of 3 or 4, so there's someone here almost every day.
夕方までだけどね。
Only until evening, though.
宴会とかがあって人手が欲しい時には別途に呼んでるんだけどさ。
Oh, and if we're having a party or something where we need more help, we call up different people. If you had the money to hire all these people, then just take Satoko in. Damn. It doesn't just work like that. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately.
ごめん。
Oh, sorry.
いいよ。
It's fine.
金の問題じゃないことは分かってるからな。
I know it's not a money problem.
先に言っとくけど、うちはお金持ちかもしれないけど、
Just to be clear, my family may be rich, but
私に自由にできるお金は全くないんだからね。
it's not money that I can use freely for myself, okay?
そこだけは誤解しないでほしい。
I don't want you to misunderstand that. Kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately.
でさ、
So,
何？
what's up?
ケイちゃん、なんか話があったんじゃないの？
You had something to talk about, right?
ミオンにかなり本気な話がある。
I have something pretty serious to discuss, Mion.
突然な話でミオンは面食らうかもしれないが、聞いてほしい。
This will be sudden and you might be surprised, but I want you to hear me out.
何？
Huh? What?
あ、先に逃げ道を渡しておくな。
Oh, I'll give you a way out first.
仮に本当だったとしてミオはそれを認めてくれなくてもいい。
Even if what I say is true, you don't need to admit it.
しらばっくれててもいい。
You're allowed to play dumb.
だけれど最後まで俺の話は聞いてほしい。
But I want you to listen until the end.
鬼ヶ淵村御三家の今や筆頭家、その次期当主の園崎美代に話がある。
I have something to say to the next leader of what's still the most important of the three families of Onigafuchi Village, Mion Sonosaki. Breath in my ear. Ear. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted.
どこで聞いたの？
Where did you hear that?
それは関係ないことだ。
It doesn't really matter. I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. This was why I asked you about it after all.
ケイちゃんが鬼ヶ淵村の名を知ってることだけでも驚きだけど、
I was surprised just that you'd heard of Onigafuchi Village, Ki-chan.
私についていろいろとあることないことを知ってそうだね。
But you seem to know a lot of things, both true and false, about me too.
あ
Yeah,
あ、あることないことだ。
true and false.
俺が勘違いしてるだけなのかもしれない。
I really might just have the wrong impression here.
でもそれでもいいから聞いてくれ。
But I'm okay with that, so listen.
そしてもしも本当なんだったら
And if it really is true,
ケイちゃんが何の話をしようとしてるかわからないけど、話す前に釘を刺すよ。
I don't know what you're getting at, Ki-chan, but let me say this beforehand.
とにかくケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。
You've got a big misunderstanding.
だからできるなら私はケイちゃんの話も聞きたくない。
So if it were possible, I wouldn't want to hear what you're about to say.
聞いても何も叶えてあげられないからね。
Because even if you said it, I can't do anything to help you.
でも話すことでケイちゃんの肩が少しでも軽くなるなら聞くよ。
Still, if talking about it will lighten your burden even a little, I'll listen.
本当に聞くだけ。
I'm only just going to listen. That's a great way for her to distance herself. She's like, I mean, I can't confirm or deny, but you know what? I'll hear you out.
何も起こらないよ。
Nothing more will happen.
それでもいいね。
Are you okay with that?
あ
Yeah. Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd be talking about. She warned me that doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Sonozaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that have been occurring every year in Hinamizawa.
お社様のたたりってあるよな。
You know that stuff about Oyashiro-sama's curse, right? Mion nodded a little.
正体不明。なぜ起こるのかも不明。
No one knows what it is or why it happens.
個々には解決しながらも全体で見れば不可解な連続開始連続失踪事件。
Even if each incident is solved, the string of deaths and accidents as a whole is still a mystery.
でも一つだけ共通することがある。
But there's one thing connecting them all.
それは必ず村の旧敵が標的に選ばれること。
And that's how the targets are always enemies of the village.
みたいだね。
Seems like it. Mion spoke as if it didn't relate to her. That was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen to me.
あさってだろ、綿流し。
The day after tomorrow. It's Watanagashi, isn't it?
今年のたたりの犠牲者ってさ、もう決まってるのか？
Has the sacrifice for this year's curse been decided already? Mion didn't answer. Her expression remained the same too. Like she said, she was just quietly listening. The most stoic poker face needed by Mion right now.
あ、ごめんな。
Sorry.
聞いてるだけって約束なのに、質問しちゃ変だよな。
The promise was that you just listened, so it's weird for me to ask you a question, huh? Mion gave me a look she'd never given me before. A faraway look. A sympathetic one. She didn't nod. She just smiled faintly and listened to me.
もしも今年のたたりが聡子のおじじゃなかったなら聡子のおじに変えてくれ。
If this year's curse isn't going to be on Satoka's uncle, then please change it to him. I'm just very fascinated about what Mion would do in a situation like this. Like, what this is going to become. I mean, let's say, you know, Mion is control, you know, assuming she is able to change the target or choose the target of the village enemy who would then die via curse. She either takes out, in theory, right, we're taking all that into account, takes out the uncle like he wants, bam. I mean, a lot of things could obviously evolve from that, but more importantly, more interestingly maybe, is she doesn't. Then Kechi's gonna grow furious, right? He would be pissed. He'd be like, I came to you for asking this, and then she could play it one of two ways. She could just be like, I can't control, I can't do that, I can't do that, it's not me who does that. Or she could fire back. I think more interestingly would be as if the uncle does not die. Because then you have the dynamic of like, Kechi literally coming to her and being like, this needs to happen. Almost so interesting that it feels like that's going to be the case, right? Anyway, read that.
去年は聡子のおばだろ。
I mean, last year was our aunt, right?
順番から言えば決しておかしくはないだろう。
It's in the right order, so it wouldn't be weird.
そうだね。そういう順序もあるね。
You're right. Seems like there's an order.
第一あいつ去年のたたりでおばが死んだ後聡子を放り出して丸1年町に逃げ出してたじゃないか。
I mean, after her aunt died to the curse last year, he abandoned Satoko and fled into the town for a whole year.
そんなやつもろにお社様のたたり確定じゃないかよ。
Why wouldn't a guy like that definitely be next on Oyashiro-sama's list?
今年のたたりに選んでも不足はないはずだぜ。
There shouldn't be any issue with choosing him for this year.
そうだね。
I see.
今年のたたりであいつが死んでも多分みんな納得するね。
If you were to die from the curse this year, no one would see anything unusual about it.
俺聞いたんだ。
I heard
お社様のたたりってのはその
that Oyashiro-sama's curse is, well, no matter how I looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I should continue. No matter how I tried, the words wouldn't come out.
ひなみ沢連続開始事件、
The string of freak deaths in Hinamizawa.
通称お社様のたたりは園崎家が主導で御三家が起こしている村ぐるみの事件だでしょ。
Also called Oyashiro-sama's curse. You're saying they're incidents perpetrated by the village, carried out by the three families at the Sonozaki's instructions. Is that it?
別に俺は
I wasn't...
それにミオンが関わってるとかそんなのには興味がないんだ。
I don't care one bit whether you have anything to do with it.
ただ
I'm just saying.
もしもそういうたたりを決めている連中に渡りがつくなら
If you have any way of communicating with whoever decides the targets of the curse.
聡子のおじをたたりに選ぶように言ってほしいだけなんだ。
Then I just want you to tell them to choose Satoko's uncle.
頼む。
Please.
ケイちゃんの言ってる内容はさっきから本当にひどいこと。
Everything you've been saying has been terrible.
ひなみ沢連続開始事件が園崎家主導の事件なんだとしたら、
え
それじゃあ主犯格は私ってことだよね。
If the freak death incidents in Hinamizawa were carried out by the will of the Sonozaki family, that would mean the main culprit would be me, wouldn't it? Also, I hate to have to acknowledge this, but it's just very funny. And I know it's just limitations of the visual novel genre and sprites and mouth movements, but the way she's delivering these lines is with like a smile on her face, and then like as she's talking, she's like smiling. And it's like not the right You probably wouldn't accompany that this face with these words, probably. But whatever.
私がたたりを決め指示をし、何人も殺めて消したことになる。
I would have chosen the target of the curse, given the instructions, killed many people and gotten rid of others.
ケイちゃんは私を人殺し呼ばわりするんだ。
You're calling me a murderer, Key-chan?
だから
I didn't say that.
言ってるじゃないか。
Didn't you listen to me?
ミオンが連続殺人の主犯だろうと無関係だろうと俺はどうでもいいんだ。
I don't care whether you're the one behind the murders or not. I just don't.
たとえミオンが殺人犯だって俺の親友であることには何も関係ないじゃないか。
Even if you were the culprit, it doesn't change the fact that you're my friend.
それでも全然構わないんだぜ。
It doesn't matter at all.
警察に追われたら助けてやる。
If the police were chasing you, I'd come to help.
お前のアリバイを作ってやるし逃走だって助けてやる。
I'd make you an alibi and even help you escape.
仲間で親友だからだ。
Because we're friends and comrades.
そうだろ。
Aren't we? Mion looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded.
いきなり共犯宣言？
Now you're declaring yourself complicit?
ケイちゃん、かなり大胆だよそれ。
Key-chan, that's pretty bold of you.
いいから話の腰を折るな。
Come on, don't interrupt.
佐藤のおじを今年のたたりに。
Satsuko's uncle. Choose him for...
ケイちゃんストップ。
Stop right there, Key-chan.
そろそろご飯の準備をしたいから、今日はこれくらいにしたいんだけど。
I want to start on dinner soon, so I'd like to leave things at this.
ミオン。
Mion! I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. They slid down my chin and fell, drip drop, to the tatami mat. Tatami mat.
最初から言ってる通り、
It's like I said at the start.
ケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。
You've got a big misunderstanding.
お社様のたたりは、お社様のたたり。
Oishiro-sama's curse is just that.
たとえ人間の起こした事件であったにせよ、それは園崎家とは、ましてや私とは何の関係もないよ。
Even if there were people behind those incidents, they don't have anything to do with the Sonozaki family, or me either.
ああ、それは分かっているさ。
Right. I understand that. It's just...
だからケイちゃんの必死の訴えには胸を打たれるけど、それだけ。
It was touching to hear such a desperate plea, Key-chan. But that was all it was.
私が叶えてあげたくても叶えてあげられない。
Even if I wanted to help, I can't.
それもわかるね。
You understand that too, right?
ああ、
Yeah.
でもケイちゃんの気持ちは痛いくらいに分かったよ。
But now I know how you feel, so well it hurts. But now I know how you feel, so well it hurts. Okay.
もしも本当に私がケイちゃんの言うように御三家を操って毎年の犠牲者を選べる立場にあったなら、
If I really were, like you said, the one controlling the three families and choosing the sacrifices every year,
きっと私はケイちゃんの願いを叶えているよ。
I'd probably grant your wish.
ミオン。
Mion!
でも現実は違う。私はただの園崎ミオン。
But the reality is different. I'm just Mion Sonozaki.
確かに園崎家はいろいろな意味で悪い噂を持ってひなみ沢を影から支配している一族だけれども、
My family may be the subject of all sorts of bad rumors about controlling Inamazawa from the shadows,
連続開始事件とは何の関係もない。
but we have nothing to do with the freak death incidents.
ダム闘争では確かに少々過激な抵抗もしたけれど、それだけ。
We may have been a little extreme during the dam war, but that's all.
人殺しなんて大それたこと
We
絶
would,
対にやらないよ。
we would never do something so insane as to kill people.
そんな悲しいこと言うなよ。
That's... Don't say such sad things.
せめて今だけでも
Right now, at least.
嘘でもいいから
I don't care.
うなずいてくれればいいじゃないか。
Why can't you just be nice and lie to me?
ケイちゃん、
Key-chan,
夢を見るのは勝手。
you're free to believe what you like.
私がここでうなずいてみせれば、ケイちゃんは聡子があさっての夜に解放されると信じて肩の荷を下ろすことができるんだろうけどね。
If I lied to you now, you'd be convinced Satoko would be freed the night after tomorrow. and you'd be able to shed so much of your burden.
でも無情にも聡子の叔父はあさっての夜も超える。
However, reality is harsh. Satoko's uncle will survive beyond that day.
来週になっても再来週になっても居続ける。
He'd still be alive next week, and the week after that.
それを覚悟してね。
You need to prepare yourself for that.
私は綿流しの次の日になぜ殺さなかったなんてケイちゃんに詰め寄られたくない。
I don't want you coming to me the day after Watanagashi, demanding to know why he wasn't killed.
ミオ
Mion. Damn. Mion stood up slowly and closed the sliding door. Keep out the wind that had grown chilly.
ミオさんかな。
Was it Mio-san?
ケイちゃんにそんな話を吹き込んだのは。
Did she give you all those ideas? Don't say anything, dude. Uh-oh. Fucking Kechi, don't say. Don't tell her who said something.
あの人ひなみ沢をいい感じに誤解してるからな。
She really likes to misunderstand things about Hinamizawa.
まあ本人が一人で楽しんでる分にはいいんだけど。
Well, we can let her have we can let her have her fun. Do I think Mion is lying? Again, I'm gonna give you an answer to the best of my ability, and I hope you don't hate it. As someone who experienced all of Umineko, and now has experienced part of Higurashi, I feel like it's very hard for me to just take whatever the story as it's presented to me without me thinking, for lack of a better term, and I swear I'm not doing this just because of Umineko or whatever, but on a meta level. And I was kind of saying it earlier with the way I was thinking about how like a story is written and all that. I can't just take this at super face value, right? So in my head right now, I'm thinking, okay, I think the game or the story wants me, the reader, to assume that Mion is lying to him. That, you know, he's got this thing and he was told this information about Mion, about her ability to potentially choose who dies from the curse, yada yada yada. The game wants us to think that, so much so because the game is really gonna flip it almost in a reverse psychology type situation and is laying this little moment so thick that they're doing that because they want us, the reader, to be like, oh, she's lying to him straight up to his face. But, and this is the part where it makes me maybe sound dumb, and maybe I'm not going to explain it well enough, but so much so that the game at some point is going to reverse it, and actually the reveal to the unsuspected reader is going to be, no, look, she wasn't lying this whole time. Like, even though we as a reader are supposed to be like, oh, she's so fucking lying right now, you know, she's lying, we know it's all the evidence supports that she's whatever. And to me, again, as someone who yeah, basically, to me, as someone who experienced all of Umineko and knows that a lot of the reveals are like, oh, the game really wants you to think one thing, but because, and applies so much evidence for something for the reader to believe, that then the reveal at some point is going to be like, no, look, even despite all the evidence, and Kechi believing in his heart of hearts that this is the case, and he was told by someone else that this is the case, we're going to show you that she wasn't lying, and it's actually this. I guess, again, I don't think I'm wording it super well, but that's what I truly believe, because I can't just take this at, like, it's very hard for me to be reading this and then just take necessarily at just face value. I mean, I could probably say that and probably come to that conclusion even if I hadn't have read Umineko. Me personally would have been like, huh, a story where there might be things revealed and like, ooh, we love like stories with a twist. It seems very easy to go like lay on a bunch of evidence really thickly to make the reader and Kechi believe that this is the case and that she's lying, And then the easy thing to do would be, oh, the twist is she wasn't lying. Wow. And I'm not saying that necessarily as a negative way. But yeah. I guess that's the long way of saying, do I think she's lying? Ultimately, no. But I think the game wants us to think that she's lying right now. And will at some point reveal that she's not lying. Anyway, she really likes to misunderstand things about Hinamizawa. Well, we can let her have her fun. Oh boy. Well, Takano. Fate was sealed. But I don't really want her influencing you, Ki-chan. Jeez. This is why outsiders are no good.
高野さんは関係ないからな。
Takano-san has nothing to do with it. Because she doesn't believe him at all, and she says, right.
でも安心して。
Don't worry.
仮にミオさんがケイちゃんに喋ったと分かったって別にどうにもならないんだから。
Even though I know she told you about it, Ki-chan, nothing's going to happen.
別にミオさんが今年のたたりに選ばれるわけじゃない。
It's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse. And then I should say the reverse. There's a good chance that maybe she is lying. You know? And maybe I'm completely overthinking the situation and I'm gonna look like a fool because I was explaining all that and I'm just couldn't be more wrong. So hopefully that's not the case. And hopefully there's not millions of viewers behind their screens pointing and laughing at me as I just spout the most wrong things ever. But I guess that's the point, right? If people were to ask me a question about a theory, about a thing that's about to happen or whatever, they either want me to be like, most likely people probably want me to be wrong in general. I know how this works, but I'm just saying, just don't be so mean when I'm so wrong, you know? That's all. That's all I'm saying. Okay, back to this. Even though I know she told you about it, Ki-chan, nothing's gonna happen. It's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse.
そもそも今年もたたりがあるかどうかなんてわからないよ。
Besides, we don't even know for sure if the curse will happen this year.
あんなの不幸な偶然がただ積み重なっただけなんだからさ。
Maybe it was all just a pile of unfortunate coincidences. Now, I mean, an interesting aspect here is this second half of this thing where it's like, all right, I'm telling you to your face that I don't choose the curse things. It's all just fabrication. It's all just coincidence, whatever she's trying to spin to him. And then she gets out of him, basically. She doesn't even have to ask, and he doesn't have to. She probably just knows for one reason or another. Takano was talking to him about it. She says, oh, this is why outsiders suck. Oh, but don't worry, she won't be chosen for, you know, for the curse or anything. I mean, now that I'm even double reading it, it's almost like, it almost is portrayed as like a slip up. Where she's like, it's not like Mio-san will be chosen for this year's curse, when she was just hammering that the curse isn't a real thing and she has no choice or influence on it. And then she's like, besides, we don't even know if the curse will happen. It's almost like a weird slip up, which I think was intentionally like written like that, which is interesting. But what I mostly was first trying to say is the interesting part to this is we now have 2 chapters before this history of what ends up happening to potentially Takano and her, you know. It's all just interesting. Maybe more interesting to me than the actual theory of if she's lying or not to him in general. Because if Takano disappears again, if we see her disappear again or die, then what? And the uncle survives, then what does Ketchy be? Ketchy's like, oh shit. Did I not get out what I want and also potentially... See, this seems like it would be gearing up to what's going to be the conflict between him and Mion here. If things play out like we would expect or normally would see around this time, if something bad happens to Takano and Uncle lives, that's not going to be good for him. Kenji probably would not be happy about that. Anyway, maybe it was all just a pile of unfortunate coincidences.
聞いてくれてありがとな。
Thanks for listening.
もしもミオンが 連続事件と何の関係もなかったなら本当に不愉快な話をした。
If you aren't connected to the serial deaths at all, then that must have been an uncomfortable conversation.
謝っておくな。
I'll apologize for it.
そうだね。
I see.
謝っておいてくれるかな。
You'll apologize for it. Okay. Melon said she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said she had a meeting or something today about Sunday's Higurashi festival, so there would be a lot of people from the town council and the festival committee coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say.
天に神様がいるならさ、
If there's a God in heaven,
きっとケイちゃんの強い思いは伝わるから。
then he probably understands how strongly you feel.
あ、
Yeah.
今日は変な話をして本当にごめんな。
I'm really sorry for being so weird today.
今日の話はなかったことにしてくれていい。
You can pretend like this discussion never happened if you want.
うん。
Okay.
忘れておくよ。
I'll forget about it.
じゃあ
Okay.
明日な。
See you tomorrow. Now, maybe I'm just reading into it, but right here, I think deep down, Kechi thinks she's lying to him. But I think deep down, I think he thinks that he did plant the seed. And that she just has to play coy the whole time about it. I think deep down, even though outwardly he was acting like how can you act? He probably thinks like, oh, Mion's such a good friend. There's no way she wouldn't listen to my pleas, you know? I think he thinks he got something in her. Which I think then just makes the upcoming potential disappointment blow up the situation. Okay, see you tomorrow.
バイバイ。
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that what Takano-san had told me, at least, wasn't a complete fabrication. If Mion was really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips, and I wanted to think that was proof. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Satoko's uncle. I was the only one talking that whole time. Mion quietly listened to everything I had to say like a pastor listening to a confession. She could have gotten angry part way through, told me off, and to go wash my face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. Was that proof that Mion's family, the Sonozaki, were the masterminds? Or was she just listening because she felt sorry for me going kind of crazy? I didn't know which it was, but it was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance. Should worse come to worse and the public agency decide to wait and see. It was a completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Since they said that if she reported to the Child Consultation Center, they'd have to respond on the same day. Could they already be in the middle of responding to it now? If Satoko came to school tomorrow morning all energetic, then everything would be just a needless fear. Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? That night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Satoko, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tasted the end of her nightmare, enjoying a night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon. Good morning, Ketchikun.
おはよ
Morning.
よかった。
Thank goodness.
今日もお寝坊かと思ったよ。
I thought you overslept today, too.
昨日はおばさまには先に行ったって言われるし、学校には来ていないし、
Your mom said you'd gone on ahead yesterday, and then you weren't at school.
途中で日射病で倒れちゃったのかなって心配してたんだから。
I was worried that you had gotten heat stroke halfway there.
へいへい。昨日は心配かけて申し訳ございませんでした。
Yeah. I'm very sorry for all the worry I caused you yesterday.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
みーちゃん、おはよ
Mi-chan, good morning.
う。大丈夫？なんかすっごく眠そうだよ。
Are you alright? You look really tired. That's so ominous.
そういえば昨日は遅くまで町会の人が集まっての打ち合わせ会だったんだろ？
Oh, right. Wasn't there a big business meeting with all the people on the town council yesterday?
打ち合わせ会なんて名ばかりの宴会だよ。
They only called it that. It was more like a party.
毎年やってるお祭りだもん。
We have the festival every year, right?
今さら小難しい打ち合わせなんかないし。
We wouldn't have any annoying meetings at this point.
今日の午後はやっぱりお祭りのお手伝いに行くのかな？
Are you going to help out with the festival this afternoon then?
うん。
Yep.
バッチャの代わりにいろいろ挨拶しなきゃなんないし。
I have to do a meet and greet with all sorts of people in Grandma's place.
それにね、祭りってのは準備からもう始まってるからね。
Besides, they already started setting up for the festival. Our morning conversation was lighthearted as usual. It looked like Miana had thankfully forgotten, but how I'd barged into our house yesterday with that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I felt like I really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless, and it wouldn't have been weird if she yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. To think that her comrade and friend, Mion, the young leader of the Sonozakis, was one of the three families effectively controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents, was a little unbelievable. But if there was even a 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. See, that's what I'm saying. He thinks deep down he might have gotten it at her still. Yes, it was no more than 1 in 100. But that little bit of effort might have brought the chance of saving Satoko up by even a tiny bit. At least I made that effort. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it was probably just to clap my hands and pray that Satoko's uncle would be killed by the curse.
サトコ、今日は来ているといいな。
I hope Satoko makes it today.
そうだね。
Me too.
先生がいろいろと手配してくれたんでしょ？
Sensei's doing things for her, right?
きっと大丈夫だよ。
I'm sure it'll be fine.
ひなみざわ地区の民生委員が私のおばさんなんだけどさ。
My aunt is a welfare agent in the Inamazawa district.
ゆうべ電話して聞いてみたよ。
I gave her a call last night.
へえ、みーちゃんのおばさんって民生委員さんなんだね。
Huh? I didn't know your aunt was a welfare officer.
それで、
What happened?
さとこちゃんのことなんて言ってたの？
Did you tell her about Satoko-chan?
うん。
Yep.
先生があの後直接県の児童相談所に電話してね。
Chie-sensei called the child consultation center right after we talked to her.
児童福祉士が夕べのうちに訪問したらしいよ。
The child welfare officer apparently visited before the night was over.
私のおばさんにも今後定期的にアプローチするようにと連絡があったって。
My aunt said that they were going to pay visits at regular intervals from now on.
小難しい話はいいよ。
Enough with the dumb little stuff.
それより、サトコはどうなったんだよ。
I wanted to know what happened to Satoko.
保護されたのか？
Did they get her safe?
おばさんはそこまでは知らされてなかったみたい。
My aunt wasn't that informed about it.
本来はこういうのって秘密だからね。
I was supposed to keep this a secret anyway.
おばさんが私に話してくれたのも十分に倫理違反なんだしさ。
Her telling me was a big breach of ethics in the first place.
くそ、かえって不安になったぞ。
Damn, makes me feel even worse.
行こう、学校に。
Let's get to school. Right. Discussing this more would just make us feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Satoko was safe or not. The three of us nodded and ran off. Was Satoko safe? What measures had the child consultation center taken? I didn't care what, as long as we could get back to our peaceful life with Satoko today. Didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks at the entrance, Rina took a peek in Satoko's shoe cubby.
さとこちゃんの靴あるよあるよ
Ah, Satoko's shoes are here. They're here.
ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。
Key-chan. Wait, that?
さとこちゃんの靴あるよあ
Oh,
るよ
wait. Okay, Key-chan, Satoko came.
よかった。
Thank goodness.
来てるだけじゃわからないだろ。
ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。
That doesn't sound like Rina's voice. Am I insane?
ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。
さとこちゃんの靴あるよある
ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。おばさんはそこまでは知らされてなかったみ。ケイちゃん、サトコは来てるよ。よかった。
Maybe I'm insane. I don't know. That sounded like that was read by Mion's voice there. And then misattributed to Rina for a sec. I don't know. It says, we don't know if anything happened just because she came to school.
サトコの顔を見るまで何もわかるものか。
We can't know anything until we see her face. We tried towards the classroom. Is this going to be false hope? Why would her shoes be there? The classroom was lively, as it usually was in the morning.
サトコ、
Satoko,
どこだ。
where are you?
み
Me.
ここにちゃんといますですよ
She's right here.
朝っぱらから騒々しいですわね
Satoko! It's too early in the morning to be so loud.
少しはお静かになさいませ
Would you please keep it down a bit?
さとこちゃん
Satoko-chan,
大丈夫だった
are you okay? All of our friends cried around Satoko excitedly.
保護士来たんでしょ。
A probation officer came, right?
どういう話になったわけ？
How did it go?
呼んだのはどなたですの
Who was it that called them?
まったくどんな騒ぎでしたのよ
I swear, it was quite a mess, you know?
先生だよ。
It was the teacher.
あれだけ欠席すりゃ心配もする。
You were absent for so long, of course she was worried. Satoko said, I told you I'm fine under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own.
私もおじさまもとんだ迷惑でしたのよ
It was a big bother to both me and my uncle.
急にあんなに人に押しかけられてもう
That person just barged in on us all of a sudden. Misread that. That person just barged on. Barged? Yeah, I think that's a typo. That's why I got confused. That person just barged in on us suddenly. I think it's supposed to say that person just barged in on us. There's an extra on there. In on us suddenly. Jeez.
みんなさとこちゃんのこと心配してたんだよ
Everyone was worried about you, Satoko.
迷惑だなんて言わないで
Don't say it was a bother.
ああ、もう。
Ah,
と
jeez.
にかくそれで
Anyway,
どうなったんだよ。
what happened?
どうもこうもしませんわ
Nothing happened.
風邪が治ったから学校に来ただけのことですのよ
Ho, ho, ho. My cold got better, so I came back to school. That's all.
これからはあんまりお休みして心配をかけないようにしないといけませんわね
I can't take too much time off from now on because you'll all worry about me. What was Satoko saying?
おじさんはどうなったの
What happened to, well, your uncle?
多少誤解があったことを認めて二人でごめんなさいをしまして
Oh, he admitted there were some misunderstandings and we both apologized. Tug. Rika-chan grabbed the back of my collar and pulled me away. I don't think this is going to be a good enough answer for him.
なんだよ、リカちゃん。
What is it, Rika-chan? Rika-chan silently dragged me all the way into the hallway.
リカちゃん、あれはどういうことだよ。
Rika-chan, what did that mean?
さとこは何でもないと言って追い返してしまいました
Satoko said nothing was happening and chased him away.
バカ野郎
That idiot.
なんで
But why? No. Somewhere in my mind, I thought it might turn out like this. Satoko didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to ride out this pain. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need to hide behind him anymore.
だけど監督に聞いた話じゃ保護士ってのは本人の意思に関係なく緊急保護をすることができるんだろ
But Coach said probation officers can bring her to safety in an emergency, even if it's against her wishes.
いくら聡子が虐待を否定したって虐待は事実
However much Satoko denies the abuse, it's a fact. Chie-sensei finally came. Her expression was far from cheerful.
前原君の言う通り
Yes, you're right, my Birkin.
児童福祉士は緊急性があると判断すれば職権で緊急保護をすることができます
If the child welfare officer determines that it's an emergency, they have the right to immediately take them to safety,
当事者の意思に関係なく
regardless of the affected party's intent.
じゃあどうして
Then why?
どうして聡子の意思が変に尊重されて保護されないことに
Why is Satoko's intent being respected so much? It's weird. Why don't they put her into safety?
それに沖宮の相談所もいろいろ検討した末にそういう判断を
Well, after looking into it from many angles, that's what the Okinomiya Child Consultation Center determined.
なんだよそりゃ先生昨日あんた絶対に助けるから大丈夫って言わなかったかこれはどういうことだよおかしいじゃねえかよおい
Jeez. What the hell is that? Sensei, didn't you say it was going to be alright since you definitely save her? What's the meaning of this? This doesn't make any sense. Answer me, damn it!
圭一
Kechi?
実は聡子の児童虐待の通報は
This is
これが3回目なのです
actually the third time someone has reported Satoko's child abuse.
過去にも2回あったのです
It happened twice in the past too.
古出さん
Furude-san. Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway.
過去に2度
Twice before?
一昨年の冬に通報して様子見になったって話は聞いてるがその前にもあったのか
I heard they decided to wait and see after reporting it to the winter before last, but it happened before then too?
聡子の死んでしまったお父さんは聡子の本当のお父さんではないのです
Satoko's father, who died, wasn't her real father. What?
リカちゃんそれが
Rika-chan. Rika-chan, that's... What? I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so couldn't get a word in either.
聡子のお母さんは再婚なのです
Satoko's mother remarried.
聡子とサトシはお母さんの連れ子でお父さんとは血はつながっていなかったのです
She brought Satoko and Satoshi with her, so they weren't related by blood to their father. Satoshi was a good kid, one who listened politely to what adults told him. He was immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But Satoko is different. She was rebellious, she told lies, she played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like her at all. What?
つまりどういうことだよ
So, what do you mean?
聡子はおじ夫婦に預けられる以前の家族の時もあまり良好な家族関係ではなかったのです
Even before she was given to their uncle and his wife, Satoko didn't have a very good relationship with her family. Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent at the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him. But the young Satoko didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather, and never opened her heart to him, even a little. She just got on his nerves all the time, with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course, but that too faded quickly.
私はその時はひなみ沢にいなかったからよく知らないけれど
I don't know because I wasn't in Hinamizawa at the time,
昨日電話で初めて知りました
but I learned this on the phone yesterday.
先生が聞いたのはどんな話ですか
What story did you hear, Sensei?
さとこちゃんが
That Satoko-chan
両親
wanted to trick her parents.
特に義理のお父さんを陥れるのを目的に嘘の話を作って
especially her stepfather, so she made up a false story.
自分で生活相談所に電話したって。
Oh boy. And phoned the child consultation center herself.
自傷と作り話。
She made up a story about hurting herself?
聡子は嫌いなお父さんを追い払うため嘘の電話をしたのです。
Satoko made a fake phone call to try and get rid of the father she hated. Child welfare officers rushed there and heard the story. Her father genuinely apologized for a few times when he had gone too far and agreed to let the child welfare center give him coaching.
いろいろと関係機関が調べた結果ね。
Oh boy. Related agencies looked into it quite a bit.
ギフとさとこちゃんの心のすれ違いに原因があることは分かったんだけど。
They determined that Satoko-chan and her stepfather's hearts not being quite matched up was the cause of the incident.
それ以上にさとこちゃん自身に問題があることが分かったの。
But they found another problem above that with Satoko-chan.
聡子に問題って何です？
A problem with Satoko. What was it? Satoko's mother. There were a few times where she had lived with de facto husbands, though those relationships didn't result in remarriage. From a young age, Satoko had been forced to call at least 2 or 3 people her father. At some point, Satoko's pranks escalated. She would spill food on purpose, turn over her plate, and even throw it. She would break the windows in the neighborhood and shoplift candy. She would put thumbtacks everywhere and set other traps to seriously hurt people. Not in the way she did now, just to get laughs. She was also fond of telling lies that would be found out right away, and people got mad at her every time. But she never, ever changed her behavior.
さとこちゃんのことを問題児なんて思わないでね。
A true and honest gremlin. On one hand, I gotta respect it. Please don't think Satoko-chan was a problem child.
これは幼いさとこちゃんが母親を知らない男に取られまいとして取った自衛的な行為なの。
Satoko-chan was young. Those were acts of self-defense that she took so these unknown men wouldn't take her mother from her. In regards to Satoko's problematic behavior, child psychology experts from public institutions indicated her actions were to draw her mother's attention to herself. They acknowledged that she had a form of harmful emotional trauma and declared that she needed counseling and therapy from professionals. They didn't know whether that therapy had healed the wounds in her heart.
さとこちゃんはわざと体に傷を作り、お父さんに虐待を受けているとね。自分で通報してお父さんを追い出そうとした。
Satoko-chan purposely hurt herself, told them that she was being abused by her stepfather, in an attempt to chase him out.
でも結局聡子をいじめてたわけだろ、そのギフは。
But in the end, her stepfather did abuse her, right?
いい
No.
え、虐待の話は全部さとこちゃんの作り話だった。
All of the abuse had been made up by Satoko-chan.
義理のお父さんはもちろん少し感情的な叱り方をしてしまったかもしれないけど、逸脱しているほどではなかったの。
Her stepfather, of course, may have scolded her in a somewhat emotional way, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. Satoko had lied to chase away her stepfather, and they saw through her right away, and found out that Satoko had issues.
ひょっとして、
Oh.
そのせいで一昨年の冬は様子見に。
Oh, could it be that's why the winter before last they decided to wait and see?
はい、
Yes.
児童相談所にちゃんと昔の記録が残ってましたですから。
The Child Consultation Center had all their past records.
聡子の嘘の可能性もあるから慎重にということになりましたのです。
So they needed to act carefully in case Satoko was lying.
なんだよそれ。
What the hell?
つまりなんだよ。
So what?
聡子は嘘をつくかもしれないから慎重に。
Satoko might be telling a lie, so they needed to be careful.
だから様子を見ろってことになってるのかよ。
So how does that mean they just end up waiting and seeing?
狼と羊飼いさんなのです。
It was the girl who cried wolf. That fable about telling a lie once, making others unwilling to believe you later.
ふざけんなよ。
That's bullshit.
昔のことなんか全然無関係だろ。
The past has nothing to do with this, does it?
今現在起こっている事実だけが重要なんだろうが。
Only what's really happening right now is important.
サトコはおじに虐待されている。
Satoko is being abused by her uncle.
どうしてその事実が昔の出来事で歪められなきゃならねえんだよ。
Why is something that happened in the past getting in the way of helping her now? Neither Sensei nor Rika-chan had anything to say to that.
とにかくそれを慎重に判断するために保護士さんが昨日訪れましたのです。
Anyway, yesterday, a probation officer visited to carefully determine what was going on. And Satoko dealt with them, put on the best, strongest smile she could manage, and denied the abuse. Of course, she was probably being threatened to keep quiet about it by her uncle. Satoko was trying to outlast everything without asking for help. Satoko wanted to wait for Satoshi to come back home. And she outright denied the truth of the abuse. What an idiot. What? You're not really enduring it. Do you really think pretending like this will actually bring Satoshi back? Just stop it already. Satoshi, he abandoned you. And the fact that he hasn't shown up to save you now is proof, isn't it? So just stop it. Please stop being weird and pretending to endure it.
今した話は全部忘れるように。
Forget everything we just said.
いいですね。
Understand?
他の子に喋ったら先生怒りますからね。
If you tell anyone else, your teacher will be very mad at you. Sensei gave me a warning, then left to go back to the teacher's lounge.
ケイチ、
Keiichi?
サトコのことをかわいそうな子なんて思わないでくださいです。
Please don't think Satoko is a pathetic, pitiful girl.
サトコはしっかり生きていますです。
She's living life.
サトコは
She's...
そんなの分かってる。俺たちのかけがえのない仲間だ。
I know that. She's our irreplaceable friend.
サトコはまだ頑張っています。
Satoko is still trying her best.
もう少し見守ってあげましょうです。
Let's watch over her a little longer.
相談所の人が今後も定期的に訪問すると言ってるのです。
The person from the consultation center said they'd visit periodically from now on.
大変なことになったらすぐに助けてくれますよ。
If something terrible happens, they'll help her right away.
大変なことになった後だろ。
Yeah, but only after it happens. Any more than that would have sounded like I was picking a fight, so I firmly swallowed my next words and went back to the classroom. Mia and Arena were talking to Satoko like they always did. It was a silly conversation. A humorous, even fun one, like it was any old day. If Satoko really said she could still endure it, then maybe I should do as Rika-chan said and watch over her. Maybe whatever help I offer will just go unwanted. Gutted. It also probably... I mean, he was acting strong in the face of receiving this information, but he probably is like, fuck. I put all my chips in on this girl. Shut up, Satoko. I'm talking about this section. Fuck. I put all my chips in that this defenseless girl, and they're like, oh, part of the problem she caused. Like I said, he was still like, no, fuck that. Even if she cried wolf the first time, that shouldn't prevent them from doing their jobs and get her the help she needs, kind of thing. But he's like, fuck. Fuck. Shit, man. Damn, why? Why, Satoko? I don't know. It's also like, I don't know, how much defense do you give to a young girl acting out so rebelliously? She's upset about her parental situation. You know, the mom is with a bunch of different guys, and after that, she acts out. She obviously does something pretty bad. Quite bad. For a very serious type of situation. It's a mess. It's just a tangled mess here at this point. It's so bad. It's a tangled mess is the best way to describe it, because now you have all these different interests. You have Ketchy still wanting the best for Satoko. You have fucking, you know, Mion, her situation, and if she is or is she not, like, controlling who could potentially die. You have Ketchy requesting that of her. You have the teacher. You got Rika. You have Rina, who's just acting like everything's okay at the moment. She is a little too cheery for me in this stretch of time we've got with her. And then obviously you have fucking Irie, and what's his involvement in all this, and his weirdness, but also his like, oh, I definitely want to help Satoko, and then, it is just a mess, a good old fashioned mess, a muck. Satoko says, okay, why don't we all have lunch? Me.
5人揃ってのお昼は久しぶりだね。
It's been a while since it's been all 5 of us.
やっぱりこうじゃないとダメだよね。
This really is how it has to be.
まったく同感同感。
Here, here.
ほらほらケイちゃんも
Come on, you too, Ki-chan.
机寄せて。
Bring your desk over. Satoko brought her own desk over as well, grinning broadly. Even knowing nothing had been resolved, this exchange was pleasant and made me remember how fun it used to be.
いつまでもリカにお弁当を作ってもらっては悪いですわね。
I can't have Rika making a bento for me forever.
いいのですよ。
I don't mind.
さとこのお弁当を作るのは僕の楽しみなのです。
I have fun making your bento. Rika-chan is such a good girl. Having such a good friend must be so reassuring.
僕に大きなハンバーグを入れて、
Hamburg. I put the big steak in mine,
さとこには焦げたのを入れて、
and the burned one in Satoko's.
さとこだけかわいそうでニパ
So if it was just Satoko, it would be so sad, so very sad. Nippa! I take it back. Well, she's Rika-chan after all.
ーン。ほらほら、見て見て。
Hey, come on, look.
今日はほら、オムライスなんだよ。
I've got omelet rice today.
マッシュルームとか美味しそうだよね。だよね。はう。
Mushrooms and stuff are delicious. Delicious. How?
いつもながらお見事なお手前でございましたよ。
I say it every time, but your craftsmanship is splendid.
いつお嫁に行ってもおかしくない腕前ですわね。
You could become a wife whenever and not have a problem.
お嫁お嫁お嫁。
Wife? A wife?
お嫁を食べると。
Eating a wife?
は
How?
レナにお嫁は NG ワードだね。
Using the word wife is totally forbidden around Rina.
以後控えるように。
Please don't say it again.
あ、ほんのちょっぴり反省しましたよ。
I'll think about what I've done. A little.
ところでミオンの弁当は何だよ。
By the way, what's in your lunch meal?
今日のはまた趣が違って期待大だな。
It looks different again today. We're all waiting in anticipation.
おじさんはまったりと夕べのおかず詰め合わせね。
It's a rich assortment of side dishes left over from what my uncle brought last night.
煮物がいい感じなんだよ。
Stew looks really great, huh?
ほら、大根の色はかなりいいでしょ。
The color of the radishes too. Really good, right?
わあ、美味しそうなのです。
Wow, it looks delicious.
煮物は一晩寝かせてからが真骨頂だな。
Stew tastes best when it's left overnight.
これはかなりいけそうだ。
This looks like it would be really good.
よってさとこの分はなし。
And so there will be none left for Satoko.
俺が全部食って感想を聞かせるから黙って見てろ。
I'll eat it all and tell you what I think so. So just be quiet and watch.
なんですって。
What was that?
私の分もおよこしなさいな。
Hand over my portion too. Elbow, punch, headbutt. I'll use my knees too. Orya! Oh, we're close up. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
密着距離まで入れば私の有利は動きませんわね。
At close range like this, my advantage is unwavering. My advantage is unwavering. Also, tooth.
ケイチさんの分のお大根が実に美味しいですわ。
Kechi-san? The daikon in your portion tastes really good.
ちくしょう。バトル開始時から密着でいきなりコンボとは。
Damn it. Coming right for me from the start and using combo attack.
無念。
How humiliating. This little exchange. How long had it been? It looked like they'd ended up going with the wait-and-see approach, but maybe her uncle had realized he'd gone a little too far and would dial it back now. If her treatment improved a little, would that be a good thing? Satoko was grinning wider than I'd ever seen as she chomped down on her mouthful of the daikon she'd plundered from me. It really tastes that good? Daikon? Satoko was somewhat cute like that. And just as I'd done many times, I grabbed her head and started petting it. Pet, 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 pet. Pet, pet, pet. Oh, there it is. Pet, pet. Oh my god. Attack. Catch. Smack. Flip, flop. Clatter, clatter. Huh?
さとこちゃん
Oh no. Satoko-chan? Did she have like an involuntary response? Oh no. Oh god. It was so sudden that for a moment I didn't know what had happened. Oh, I feel bad already. I feel... Oh no. Alright, the back of my hand was stinging. I went to pet Satoko's head and then she hit my hand?
どうしたの、さとこ。
What's wrong, Satoko? Satoko was scratching at her head, as though a pimple or something had appeared on it and become itchy. It was so sudden and so unprovoked that I didn't understand what happened.
どうしたサトコ。
What's wrong, Satoko? At some point, her body had been covered in thin layer of sweat, and her breathing had turned ragged. When I pet her head, did she not like it? Is that what it meant?
お前、頭撫でられるの嫌いだったっけ？
It's either, like I said, either an involuntary response or she's got like a wound on her head that she doesn't want him to see or feel, right? So, one of those two things would obviously be my guess. Now I'm leaning towards that second, but hey, did you dislike being petted? Once again, slowly, I held out the palm of my hand and brought it close to Satoko's head. The instant the palm of my hand touched her head, there was a shock like static electricity, and Satoko began to howl. Oh, she's becoming a wolf! Uh-oh. Thud. Slam! She grabbed my arm in both hands, and as if flinging off a snake trying to cling to her, as if trying to throw away something dirty, she threw it violently. Happened too suddenly for me to react. I hit the desk behind me, and both it and I fell to the floor. The classroom fell deathly silent. As Satoko bellowed, sounded like she was in throes of death, and she unsteadily backed away. Then, she threw up the food she'd just eaten. Oh no. She vomited it all back up. Splish, splat. The sound of Satoko's vomit hitting the floor rang through the classroom.
大丈夫かよ、サトコ。具合でも。
Are you okay, Satoko? You seem sick. It sucks because he was just like, oh, this is the happiest I've seen Satoko in so long. And then like 2 seconds later. I reached out a hand and she swatted away with all her might. With such extreme strength that I fell onto the floor again. Satoko put both... Watch out for the vomit on the floor, apparently. Don't accidentally fall into that, please, Kechi. Satoko put both hands on her hand. Satoko put both hands on her head as though protecting it. Groaned some more. Took a few steps back. And then, she began swinging both hands around. Students in nearby seats were forced to evacuate. She grabbed anything within reach. Bento boxes, chairs, threw them, tossed them, and flung them about.
ちょっとやめなよ、さとこ。
Wait, stop it, Satoko.
あんたどうしちゃったの？
What's wrong with you? She screamed out as if Mion's words had caused her physical pain. No one spoke a word to her. All the students were withdrawing behind us, leaving Satoko alone in the corner of the classroom. Around her, there were desks and chairs all over the floor. Bento lay scattered. It was terrible. All I could hear was Satoko's ragged breaths and the voices of the cicadas. I'm sorry. A strange tension loosened around Satoko. And maybe, she suddenly grew scared of her own actions, because she started trembling and gave a word of apology. But nobody knew just who that apology was directed towards. So, for now, decided to answer as everyone's representative. No, it's fine. Are you alright? Now, I don't want to necessarily blame Kechi here, but after the first time, and especially after the second time of you reaching out and, like, touching her, and her having clearly a violent reaction for one reason or another, I probably wouldn't have gone for the second or third touch. You know, extending my hand towards her when she's, like, violently whipping about. That's just me. I don't know why he would try it. I probably, like I said, I don't necessarily want to 100% put blame on him, but she starts having a violent reaction the first time to touching her, and then you try it again, and then you try it a third time, but like you extend your hand towards her and it's clearly not having any of that. Seems a little wild to me, but you know. Who am I to judge, I guess? No, it's fine. Are you alright? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Cry. Crying noises. Our words didn't match each other at all. Satoko hugged her shoulders, and back she went. Bang! She ran into the locker with the cleaning supplies in it. Jesus. Even that made her give a little yelp. The impact caused the bucket atop the locker to fall, making a loud sound. And that scared Satoko most of all. Where's the fucking teacher? Chie, Sensei, please, for the love of God, put down the curry and address the situation. The impact caused the bucket atop the locker to fall, making a loud sound, and that scared Satoko most of all. She almost jumped out of her skin, grabbing a bunch of the curtain in her hands. Nobody spoke to her. They could only look, not even remembering to blink. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. Satoko. What on earth? I stood up, took a step away from everyone, and approached Satoko. What happened? I said... I don't know. You're wrong. Please stop. Please forgive me. Just calm down. Satoko, do you know who I am? No more. I hate this. I can't scream. I can't do it. My throat. Every time I took a step forward, she grasped the curtains more tightly and cried out. Satoko, it's me. It's Kechi. Don't you recognize me? I would never, ever hurt you. No! I made a joke earlier about it, but where the fuck? She is screaming loud Where is the... Chie! God damn! Get in there!
だから落ち着けって。
Come on. Calm down.
大丈夫だ。俺はお前の味方だって。
It's alright. I'm your friend.
助けて助けて。
Help me.
怖いのやだ。気持ち悪いのやだ。
I don't want to be scared. It feels bad. No, I don't. Wow. Suddenly, my shoulders were grabbed and I was dragged backward. It was Rina.
ごめんケイチ君。
Sorry, Kichi-kun.
ケイチ君はちょっと後ろに行ってて。
You get a little farther back. After pulling me back, she ran towards Satoko in my place.
大丈夫だよ、さとこちゃん。もう怖いことなんかないよ。
It's okay, Satoko-chan. There's nothing to be scared of.
ほら、安心して。
Please, don't worry.
やだやだやだ。もうやだやだ。
No, 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 no more, no more of that. Oh no. Nini.
助けて。助けて。
Help me. Help me.
助けてよ。
Nini, help me. What? As she gripped the curtains and kept calling for Nini, she continued to wail about being forgiven for something and to be saved from something. What is this? What? Meow gnashed her teeth and groaned, and there were tears falling from her firmly closed eyes.
どうなってんだよこれ。
What the hell? What is this?
昨日で全部終わったんじゃないのか。
Didn't this all come to an end yesterday?
今日からまた元の生活に戻っていくんじゃないのか。
Weren't we supposed to go back to our old lives?
ミオン
Mion? Mion? Oh boy, it's a mess. Crash. There was a crazy sound. Rina had taken the cleaning supply locker and kicked it down to the ground. Rina, the teacher is not showing up. Rina is taking it upon herself to fucking calm everyone as much as she can. Everyone stood surprised at Rina's unexpected act of brutality. After that, Rina embraced the bawling Satoko from behind, started crying with her, stifled.
レナ、どうした？
Rina, what's wrong?
ごめん。
Sorry.
ケイチ君、ちょっと黙ってて。
Kichi-kun, be quiet for a minute.
今のはなんだよ。
She's like, shut the fuck up. What is it now?
どうしたんだよ。
What happened?
サトコから何か聞いたのか。
What did Satsuko tell you?
何を聞いたんだよ。
What did you hear?
サイナー。
Oh my god. Oh my god. So much things are happening. Everyone just needs to calm the fuck down, please. Oh my god. Oh god. Rina says, shut the hell up.
黙ってろって言ってんでしょ。
I told you to shut your mouth, asshole. Rina's raw, hostile emotion hit me like a brick. It was no more than a momentary howl of emotion for Rina, but it was more than that for me. She had shown me what was behind all that emotion, what was in her heart.
Satoko-chan.
Satoko-chan.
やだやだやだやだ。もうやだやだやだ。
No, 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 no more, no more.
許して。何もできなかった私たちを許して。
Forgive us. We couldn't do anything for you. Forgive us. Nini. Nini. Nini.
ごめんね。
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive us for being unable to do anything. Rina's words made me feel as though the blood vessels in the back of my head were suddenly all turning to ash. My vision grew distant, blurred with gray, and the world lost its color. I thought we could save Satoko, but though I knew it'd be the sooner the better, I thought there was no time limit for doing that. I never even dreamed that we could be too late. I've been making a huge mistake. I thought Satoko could be hurt, but never that she'd break. It was such a huge mistake. People, they break. Thinking that they don't is absolutely absurd. We needed to save Satoko. We needed to save her before she broke. That fatal lapse in awareness had brought this on. Whose fault was it? I went without saying. Mine. No, ours. We all took on the duty of saving Satoko, but we were negligent to the point of laziness. In that sense, this was the inevitable result. Even if this didn't happen today, and it happened tomorrow, or the day after, or next week, we would have just sat around doing nothing until that day. So this was the obvious result. I slumped down to my knees, just as Mion and Rika-chan had done. And I, too, closed my eyes tight, couldn't stop myself from sobbing.
何の騒ぎですか?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Honestly, way to show up, Chie. Just in time. I'm irrationally mad at this lady. Oh, God. Chie says, what is all this noise about?
ちょっと何があったんです?
Wait, what's happened? The teacher came and her face screwed up at the terrible spectacle before her. The instant she realized the teacher was here, Satoko went through another complete change. She wiped her face with the curtains and, like nothing happened, smiled.
Hojo-san.
Hojo-san.
これは一体何事ですか?
What on earth is going on here? Oh my god. No.
ちょっとレナさんと喧嘩になってしまっただけですのよ。
I just got into a little squabble with Rina-san is all.
お弁当をめぐってちょっぴり大暴れなんですの。
We went a little crazy over our lunches.
ね。
Right? Rina didn't nod in reply. But then, since Satoko wished it, she nodded without strength. The rest of the class couldn't keep up with her extreme changes. We all just stared in a daze.
ちょっと悪ふざけをしただけなんですのよ。
It was just a little horseplay.
皆さん、度肝を抜かれすぎでございますわね。
I scared everyone out of their wits. Satoko would probably sweep the whole thing under the rug. For what? Her heart is torn to pieces. So what else? You wanted your Nini to help, didn't you? But unfortunately for you, Satoshi does never intend on coming back. It's never that easy. He won't just conveniently show up and save you. So, you don't have to wait for him anymore. You can cry, beg for help, you can run away. Whoa. I don't know, is that a guttural scream?
私たちが
A form change noise.
無力だから。
We can't do anything, Mion suddenly said. She spoke then, a few words that had tormented me countless times. Those words were a spell, and when I heard them, my whole body suddenly regained its calm. My emotions all slipped away like they'd never been there, like a wave departing. The fuck? Not expecting this. And then the world's color flipped inside out. My field of view expanded. My head grew remarkably cold. I felt like my mind's volume had grown even wider than the classroom we were in. At the time, my soul was doubtlessly no longer in the small, petty vessel of my head, but floating in the air a little bit above it. It was a mysterious feeling of release. I broke free of the cramped confines of my skull and stretched out my roots in all directions as far as I wanted to. It was a strange feeling, and one I'd never felt ever before. An odd sense of exhilaration. Wait, did I read that right? Exhilaration, yeah. My sharpened senses caused me to transcend! Holy shit! My mind was sharper than a knife's edge, and I immediately decided that spending the time to let myself be crushed with grief would be an absolute waste. I erased all the garbage information from my brain. I expelled the pointless emotions presenting obstacles to action. Kechi is ascending somehow.
Mion.
Mion.
お前は呪ってろ。
You curse it all you want.
自分の無力さをいつまでも。
Curse our powerlessness as much as you want.
Eh?
Huh? Oh no, it's Kechi's Joker moment. If I could have taken back what had happened by crying about it, I'd have cried all day. But the fact was, this is how things had turned out. I couldn't take back what had happened. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further, and to sever the chains of misfortune. Yeah, he's officially snapped. Kechi's like, there is no other way. I cannot just hope that someone other than myself does something in this situation. He's dead set on taking matters upon his own hands. Oh boy, okay. The top priority then would be to prevent the situation from worsening further and to sever the chains of misfortune. Until today, I've been looking at things so narrow-mindedly I could scarcely believe it. To save Satoko, the only thing to do was to save Satoko. That's the only thing I thought about. I didn't allow myself to realize the most basic, direct, and certain way of removing the source of Satoko's unhappiness. No. Actually, I realized it yesterday. But as for the means, I relied on some stupid curse from some dumb deity. I never considered carrying the task out myself. I would obliterate Satoko's uncle. Oh my god. Obliterate? Jesus. Alright, he's gonna wipe him off the face of the earth. He's gonna send the uncle to the Shadow Realm. There were plenty of ways to do it. This was a task that held infinite methods. Ironically, the method of saving Satoko required mostly money. But the method of killing that man pretty much took no money at all. I could kill him with the least amount of investment. The least amount of money suited him. It was only the weight of his life. I kept eliminating needless, worthless information from my head, replenishing it with the only knowledge I'd need to achieve my goal. I used every cell in my brain to think about how I'd kill him. The way I killed him didn't matter. I would allow any method, from whatever time and whatever country, as long as it ended in quick and certain death. If I were to have an additional condition, it'd be to not get caught. Removing him was an act designed to return the peaceful times we had with Satoko. If I was arrested in exchange for the removal, then we might as well have killed each other. With only him gone, we'd go back to our normal lives. That was my supreme objective. My ultimate goal. Kill him, definitely. But definitely don't leave evidence either. Two alternatives at odds with one another. The condition of not leaving a trace back to me automatically narrowed the number of murder methods. No witnesses was an absolute must. Fortunately, given the right time in Hinamizawa, there would be nobody around. I mentally reconstructed the land around Satoko's house. The number of pedestrians, different at different times. The movement algorithm of the neighbors. Would I lure him out or charge at him? What would my weapon be? When and where could I carry this out? Where? It needed to be somewhere I wouldn't leave a trace. When? It needed to be as soon as possible for Satoko's safety, without wasting even a millisecond. This is absurd. Completely absurd. When I thought about it this way, it struck me how easy the act of killing was. If I could leave evidence, if I was just going to kill him, anyone could easily turn into a murderer. But our reason prevented that. It told us doing so would get us arrested for sure. In the end, being arrested by the police was the final thing preventing people from committing homicide. Absurd. If you went all the way out into the very middle of the ocean, you wouldn't leave any trace at all. Anyone would drop those they hated into the depths if they knew that. It was all too easy to simply remove him. I could leave class right now, grab a metal baseball bat or something from the schoolyard, go to his house and attack him. Estimated time would be 25 minutes. If I wanted us to kill each other, it wouldn't even be minutes. I could do it in 1500 seconds. I knew just how much his continued existence depended on me. He was nothing. I could expel him from this world within just 1,500 seconds after making up my mind. From when I decided what to do, he only had 1,500 seconds. Actually, if I ran full speed to his house, the number would go down even further. But he was alive. He was still part of this world at this very moment, having torn Satoko's body and mind to shreds. Why? Because I was letting him live. I was permitting him to live, so he was alive. If I rescinded that permission, he would be evacuating this mortal coil within 1,500 seconds. You think I'd let you live to breathe even 1,500 more seconds of air? I'm taking that permission back, right here, right now. You better thank me for letting you live until today. However, I actually need more than 1,500 seconds. I'm not just gonna end you. Getting back our old lives is far more important. It's only you I'll be cleanly cutting out of this world. They won't find a culprit. I'll forget that I dirtied my hands on the likes of you as naturally as I brush my teeth before bed. So to do that, I'll make a special exception for you, give you more than 1,500 seconds. I'll give you special permission to keep on living as you have until I can construct the perfect plan for your murder. Wait, Ketchy? Can't let that time go to waste. Yeah, I know. I'll kill him quickly. I'll remove him with certainty. I won't even waste much time to perfect that plan. Think back. Tomorrow's Watanagashi, isn't it? Last year on the night of Watanagashi, her aunt died. Her head was busted open by some deviant, and her brain splattered everywhere. That's it. He's someone who deserves to be given death on the night of Watanagashi. Hey, Oishiro-sama? You call yourself a guardian, but you didn't protect Satoko. Cursing Satoko's family for the damn stuff is your own business, but now you've made Satoko unhappy when she didn't have anything to do with it. I, Kechi Maibara, hereby denounce you, the guardian deity of Inamazawa, a failure. We don't need you. Go back to the deepest, darkest part of your shrine this year. Besides, if you had just cursed and killed both her aunt and her uncle last year, none of this would have ever happened. The curse this year, it's not on you. I'll be the one deciding. It won't be the three families controlling the serial deaths behind the scenes. No, not some vague people who I can't tell if they're buffoons or not. This time, I'll be the one to deliver divine judgment. So don't get in my way. Just watch. Stay quiet and watch. I'll obliterate him. I'll wipe him off the face of the earth. I will stomp out his very existence. Go away, disappear, and die. I'll tear your heart apart just like you did to Satoko. I'll have your blood as payment. Warg.
ケイチ君、大丈夫？
Ketchikan, are you alright? Rina, Mion, and Rika-chan were looking after me. Had I fallen to the floor?
急に倒れたからびっくりしたよ。
You surprised us. You certainly fell down.
うなされてなかった？
Were you having a nightmare?
うなってたよ。
You were moaning.
うるさい。
Shut it.
黄色い声で話しかけるな。
Quit squeaking at me like that. The three of them say, Eep. My friends gave a start and backed away.
なんだよ。
What? Rina and the others. They exchanged glances, unsure of what to say, and stood confused for a few moments.
今のケイチ君の声。
Was that your voice, Ketchikan?
当たり前だろ。
Of course it was. Rina gulped firmly and opened her mouth.
今一瞬ケイチ君すごい目だった。
For a second, Ketchikan, your eyes were really scary.
目？
My eyes?
光の角度でそう見えたんだろ。
Probably just a trick of the light.
バカバカしい。
Don't waste my time.
見間違いじゃないよ。
I'm not mistaken.
あんな目初めて見た。
I've never seen those kind of eyes before. What were these guys talking about? They've all been too scared of me lately.
前原圭一君だよね。
You are Kechi Maibara-kun, right? What was Rina saying? Who else do I look like except Kechi Maibara? The look I gave her seemed to speak quite eloquently to those irritated thoughts. She understood and quickly apologized.
ごめん。
I'm sorry.
気にしないでね。
Don't worry about it. Oh my god, what? Okay, I need to remember something that's now feels like it might be important. I need to reacquaint myself with the timing of like last year's Watanagashi or last year's aunt dying versus when Satoshi left. Because maybe I'm just like maybe I'm thinking in the wrong direction. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe the story is pointing in one direction and my brain and the way I'm thinking is going in a different direction. I don't even know if I want to say it because like I could be just so fucking wrong. Especially because we don't know. There's still that nebulousness. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. He disappeared a few days later. And okay, so we know through the other things, it's always been someone dies, openly dies easily, and then someone else paired with the person just disappears. Maybe I'm really overly simplifying things, but what if especially because now what we're seeing happen to Kechi here, what if the phenomenon is every year at the Watanagashi someone dies, they think it's someone related to the pro dam people, but maybe that part is somewhat of a kind of a coincidence. And what if the actual situations that are happening is someone dies, the person who then gets spirited away after that is the actual killer, and just like how Kechi was saying, like, man, I could just fucking murder this uncle, but I have to do it so that there's no traces to me, because I could easily just kill and then run away, but that's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is to kill and get away with it so that I can hang back out with my friends. But what if this whole thing, and we obviously the pair-offs have been stated before, and so maybe I'm not thinking, maybe there's one I'm missing and this would blow my theory away. But what if the theory actually is that the previous killings that we've made mention of before have always been someone dying, and then the person close to them that's being spirited away is actually the murderer themselves, and just killing and then running away so that there's no traces of them left. I mean, that would be, you'd have to pick some weird situations, but like the one we keep seeing, the one that we're most intimately familiar with mostly is like Toмотake and Takano. What if, for an example, in one of the earlier chapters, whatever the case is, Toмотake dies at the hands of Takano. Takano mysteriously disappears, but it's because Takano killed Toмотake for whatever fucking reason, because she's fucking weird, and then she just runs away, and then we never see a trace of her again. Maybe I'm oversimplifying things, but I'm saying this is where my theory goes. Okay, so last year, the aunt dies at the Watanagashi, after Watanagashi, at Watanagashi Festival. Satoshi does it. He's the one who murders the aunt because very likely reason, maybe he was trying to help the situation with Satoko. However you would want to portray that. And then he's like, well, I can't hang around here. They're easily going to link it to me if I stick around here. So he disappears. So he did the killing. He disappears. It hurts because he's like, I have to leave Satoko. How would I explain Rika and Satoko's parents? Was there a full, clear explanation on, within the case of their parents, when they died, Who was it that it was reported got spirited away then at those moments? Was it the other parent? Was it one parent and the other parent? Or was it something else? Because if it's not, or was it a parent at different times? Was it parent one year, parent the other parent the other year that actually were like murdered? Because if it's that, so the other parent for Rika, no one for Satoko. The other parent for Rika. So the other parent for Rika got spirited away. I was going to say, well, I mean, maybe it's the same thing. Maybe one of Rika's parents killed the other parent, and then they're like, I gotta get out of here. I mean, if it was the other situation, I was going to say something wild along the lines of like, maybe that's what the club members are for. So if you're in the club, then aside from running away, the other option is getting adopted into this club that is headed by Mion. So, I'm not necessarily putting this out there, but I'm saying like, you could go the route of Satoshi, murder someone, don't want the heat to come back to you, so you just run away and you leave the town. Or you, let's say, again, in like a Rika situation or a Satoko situation, things get so bad for some reason, you kill one of your parents. And then Mion offers protection if you come into this club. You're a little girl, and you come into this club, and Mion's got enough power and authority in this town to kind of like shelter you somehow in a weird way. And whether the rest of the town people know that you did that or not, I mean, it'd be kind of wild if they knew. But like, let's say they didn't know, and also Mion acts as like a shield, and she's like, yeah, I'm friends with you, and you did some bad stuff, and things happened, and maybe Mion also agrees that they should have happened or shouldn't have happened. I'm getting a little crazy with this theory here, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like I'm not right, but I'm on to something, either like parallel wise or perpendicular wise to what's happening. I feel deep within me, I feel like I'm touching something. I feel like I've got something going. It would explain certain things, right? It would explain why the pairing of things happens, why someone gets killed, someone disappears. I just might have some things off. I might have some key figures off. I might have certain aspects off. But like, the Takano murdering Tomotake just makes too much sense to me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why that one just makes so much sense to me. Fuck. And for some reason, it weirdly makes sense to me in like, for the Satoshi case. Why they're like, oh, Satoshi definitely isn't coming back. You can't expect him to come back. They would be like, hey, he's not coming back. Because maybe they knew. Maybe some people know that Satoshi did that. Plus, Satoshi and Satoko clearly had a pretty close relationship. And if you're driven to the point where you're like, I can make her situation better, her family life situation, by killing off someone who's giving problems, and then ultimately I have to leave because I can't stick around here, it, in a weird way, would make sense to me. Here's the thing. The thing, again, I say this all the time, especially with the theories that I throw out during Umineko and Higurashi here. I know I'm probably very wrong, but that's not the point. I think people want to hear the theories, even if I'm very, very wrong. At least they're there. At least I'm trying to put stuff together. I might be cooking. It might be the worst dish you've ever had, but at least I'm cooking. Sorta. I think. It just, to me, makes too much sense. Like, again, I think I have I'm missing some facts and figures. I might be misplacing certain things, but I feel like there's got to be some explanation Ah. I mean, you could even go as far, especially with the Satoshi thing, right? Here is like, if for some reason Satoshi, I mean, this is, you're divining quite a bit of things, but like, if Satoshi for somehow knew that he could kill the aunt and spook the uncle enough to make him leave town, and Satoshi goes, that's a much better situation, and I'll beat it, I'll leave town, and I'm a murderer, but at least not Rika, Satoshi or Satoko will have a better time here. Takano murdering Tomotake, maybe. I don't know why that situation's so funny to me. Yeah. I'm just gonna be reading these, and then it'll be a night anyway, but here we go. Emergency. Have a nice rest of your night. June 18th, 1983. Oh, a few days away from my birthday. Abuse issues regarding Satoko Hojo. Urgent. We propose that Satoko Hojo must be taken into immediate custody based on the items below. 1. Family situation. Life with adoptive father who recently returned to Hinamazawa had already turned disastrous. She is currently subject to an unendurable physical and mental abuse from the father. Child consultations. 2. Child consultation center's response. Child probation officer was dispatched yesterday on the 17th from the prefecture welfare office, but because of the 77 case, changed to continued coaching and cautionary action. Unfortunately, consultation office head does not properly understand the situation. 3. Status of concerned child. Child already appears to be suffering from an outbreak of something close to neurosis or manic depression. If her unstable pubescent mind is negatively stimulated by stress, it will put her development of a healthy body and mind at risk. This cannot be allowed to continue from a humane standpoint. 4. Allegations made to the family court. We propose, based on the above items, that Satoko Hojo should immediately be taken into protective custody. She should be secured temporarily under emergency allegation to the family court under Article 28. We request emergency condition between all related agencies. D23, number 44. Children with Special Needs, General D2-3, number 44. Something, 1977. Child name, Satoko Hojo. Blank years old. Residence, redacted, Hinamazawa Village, Shishibone. 1. Consultation circumstances. Telephone SOS from child of child abuse. 2. Abuse situation. Child claims she's being physically abused by her adoptive father. This must be the records from the first time, right? First time she called protective services on herself. 3. Family structure. Blank or dot marks abusers. The adoptive father. Real mother, older brother, child in question. Note, adoptive father and real mother entered family registry in 19... The child is the daughter of the mother's previous husband. 4. Child consultation center's response. On the day of the child's telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked of her situation. On that day, the child welfare officer on duty visited the child's house and conducted an interview. The adoptive father sincerely listened to instruction and agreed to take child-raising workshops in the city from now on. As part of the suggested coaching, the center will continue to observe the situation. 5. Other notes. As a result of numerous counseling sessions at the city's education consultation office regarding the child, we learned there was a high possibility the cause of the child's excessive distrust towards her adoptive father was a result of a lack of communication. The abuse she claimed hadn't actually taken place. She had made a false report to distance herself from her adoptive father. Below is a note written in pencil by the person on duty at the time. The problem appeared to be more with the daughter. Chief Investigator F of the city's educational consultation office said that most of her stories of abuse were likely fabrications. I was trying to be like F. I was trying to see if there was... They decided to shift the focus of their coaching to the child. Be cautious not to take everything the child says as truth. Well. What a section that was. we will have to call it there, though. Can't go further. I can't be up. Plus, we don't know how much longer the next section is. Plus, I think that's a thrilling section to end on, right? Cliffhanger wise, Ketchy making up his mind. He's gonna do this. I'd assume we're gonna see the consequences of these thoughts next stream. Which, again, friendly reminder: if you're wanting to watch live, Saturday afternoon, not Saturday night Higurashi. It is a Saturday. It'll be a Saturday afternoon. Hoping to start around noonish or a little after that. Hopefully somewhere in between like 12 to 1 my time. That's Central time. So like I said, pay attention if you care to join live for that. And we'll read hopefully at least 2 sections. I'll obviously have like a hard out time for that because I have plans for that night, but yeah, we'll go for, maybe it'll make it so that we have like, we can really, like, I guess depending on how long the sections are, right? Maybe 3 sections, but at least 2 hopefully, unless like one of them's like an absurd time. Thanks so much for watching. As always, hope you enjoyed. Casual Tuesday reading of Higurashi. Intense subject matter. Have yourself a nice rest of your night. Have a great Wednesday coming up here. I will be on stream. I should be on tomorrow, but it's again going to be an early and going to end early tomorrow night. So don't be surprised if it's like an hour-long stream. I think I have an idea for it, but yeah, it'll be a very quick and easy stream come Wednesday. What was that pop up? One sec. Sorry, I got like a Windows pop up that I was like looked different, so I was like, is that something important? Spoiler alert. No, it wasn't. All right, and then obviously no stream Thursday, and then I'll be back Friday night. I think a normal Friday night stream. So good stuff for that. All right, until tomorrow night. Stay safe. I messed it up. Stay safe. Stay well, and hopefully see you in another stream. So long.